Thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom. I am honored that you've chosen to join me once again. Every week, about 20 or 25 people watch these shows, and about 45 or 50 get the audio version sent to them. And of course, they are posted on the web page, and I'm sure some people enjoy them that way. I'm thrilled to be able to continue to provide them for you, and I hope you continue to get something from them. And I'm so thankful for the comments I get from some of you, telling me that a part of something that's said touches you or makes you think in a new and exciting way. And I appreciate those of you honest enough to tell me how much you love putting them on because they help you drift off to sleep. And again, friends, while listening, send some positive energy to anyone you might know or anyone we mention who might be ill or suffering in any way. Think of your fellow man, lend them a helping hand, and put a little love in your hearts. Bamidbar, in the wilderness. While Leviticus was a book of absence of movement, Numbers is the book that tells the story of a journey. It is wholly about movement, and yet it begins with a census. 1, 2, 3, 4, can I have a little more? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I love you. We call this book Numbers. Its 10 opening chapters are like a continuation of the priestly writings from Leviticus. It opens with an amazing census, which is why we call it Numbers. And remember, friends, the English names are for the theme. The Hebrew names are different. They're for the first words, and the Hebrew words tells us this is in the wilderness, and that is a better indicator of the theme than the Greek arithmoi. There was also a rabbinic designation of this book as Omesh Hapakudim, the fifth of reckonings, which pointed to its pageantry of tribal roll call. There are power struggles, rebellions, trials by ordeal, instructions in the Nazirite vows, and fear. And this is the only biblical book concerned solely with one generation. It recounts the story of the wilderness generation, a unique generation like no other, with a story like no other. And this is a different type of biblical book. Genesis has the strange blessing of Jacob ending it. Deuteronomy has the song of Moses, but this has the amazing prophecies of Balaam, the brilliant centerpiece like archaic poetry with talking animals and humor, and we'll talk much more about it when the time comes. This is a book about wilderness wanderings and trials and upheavals for a nation in the making. The journey as a theme goes back to the oldest known book on earth, the Epic of Gilgamesh. And we have seen it in Homer's great epic poem, The Odyssey, as a search for self. More recently in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and in our own time in The Wizard of Oz. The journey is a metaphor for human lives and experiences and connects our world of dreams with our world of reality. The journey can involve the individual or the group. In the book of Numbers, it is both. It is not only the people's journey from Sinai to Canaan, but it is Moses' journey from where he first saw God to where he dies. This is about an entire nation in motion with a visible miracle, the column of cloud and fire, and miraculous feeding through manna, taking place daily over a 40-year period. This is the only time in the Torah, my friends, that miracles are in fact a daily part of life. This is a return to Exodus. The Israelites are on the move, and we have the reconnaissance mission, which resulted in the entire generation which left Egypt being fated to die. And from a stasis position in the last book, they are forever now on the move. But after the amazing presentation of tribes rallying around their banners, we see only a motley crew of malcontents, churning with complaints, so much so that God threatens to wipe out everyone. And what happens? Moses fails his test and is forbidden from entering the promised land. Miriam and Aaron die, and Joshua is chosen for leadership. This was a generation with a slave mentality. Yet this is a people meant to realize a grand destiny. And too many of us today still have a slave mentality. And we are all meant for our own grand destiny. According to the numbers, there were 603,550 male adults, not including the tribe of Levi. They were an elite group with a special role, almost like a Praetorian Guard. But instead of guarding a king or emperor, they guard the tent of meeting, the sanctuary, the most sacred space of all, and the abode of the greatest king of all. That would put the number of people over 2 million, something simply not possible. And friends, with those numbers, only a few would have had the true experience of Egypt, but all have taken it on as having happened to them. And this is what we are told to do on Passover. This male census of those from age 20 shows the tribal breakdown based on military conscription, whereas the Levites were counted from 1 month on, because the Levites are dedicated to God their whole lives. And a month puts you past immediate infant mortality. Yes, this is a book of a journey through the wilderness, and it contains an unspoken, incredibly powerful message, one applicable in everyone's life, and one too often forgotten. Friends, your life is a journey, and like this journey of sojourners, you can't go back. And this journey takes place in that locale where so many journeys occur, in the wilderness. What is the wilderness? We've seen it before. Throughout the entire Torah and throughout history, it is where the baser animalistic part of ourselves, represented by Esau, went to live after selling his birthright, where Moses told Pharaoh the people needed to go to have a festival for their God, where the slave nation feared they would die due to its unknown possibilities. It is where we all have to pass through to reach our promised lands. And friends, you're in very good company. These are a few of the individuals we read about who journeyed through the wilderness. Abraham, who journeyed to leave his home to be the founder of a great nation, and again to take his son Isaac and offer him as a sacrifice to prove his devotion. Ishmael, who with his mother Hagar wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, where God saved them and promised Ishmael too would be the father of nations. Moses, a 3-time journeyer, while in the wilderness he came across the burning bush and became the chosen messenger of God, who then led the people of the Exodus through the wilderness back to Mount Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments, and finally through the wilderness to bring the people to the promised land. And there are others, like John the Baptist, Jesus, Mohammed, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha or Enlightened One, and of course, you. Every one of these leaders crossed the same wilderness you each cross. Each of these is allegorical of the journey we each have to undertake. The wilderness isn't out there. It's in here. It's that internal desert of doubt and fear and memories and regrets we have to face. And like them, when you cross it, you cross into your promised land, and you too receive love and faith and redemption. There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All these places have their moments. With lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead, and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. And as you undertake your journey, friends, think about the story about the philosophy professor who stood before his class and wordlessly picked up a large empty jar and proceeded to fill it with golf balls. He then asked the students if the jar was full, and they agreed that it was. He then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar lightly, and the pebbles rolled into the open areas between the golf balls. He asked the students again if the jar was full, and again they agreed that it was. Next he picked up a box of sand and he poured it into the jar. The sand filled up everything else, and he asked once more if the jar was full, and once more was met with a unanimous yes. To finish, he produced 2 bottled beverages from under the table and poured the entire contents into the jar, effectively filling the empty space between the sand, and the class laughed. Now, said the professor, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things: your family, your children, your health, your friends, your passions. If everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, your house, and your car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand into the jar first, there's no room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same goes for life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are important to you. Pay attention, my friends, to the things that are critical to your happiness. Spend time with your children. Spend time with your parents. Visit with grandparents. Take your spouse out to dinner. Celebrate your passion. There will always be time to clean the house and mow the lawn. Take care of the golf balls first. The things that really matter. Set your priorities. The rest is just sand. When one of the students asked about the drinks, the professor smiled and said, The drinks just shows that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a drink with a friend. In the fury of the moment, I can see the Master's hand in every leaf that trembles, in every grain of sand. Enjoy your journeys, my friends. There's no need for malcontentedness or grumbling. Take care of the things and people that really matter. And for those interested, we will be doing a memorial service for our friend Bruce's father, so send your good wishes. Shabbat Shalom.